Welcome to the stream. I've decided to do an open mic night tonight, and we've got one or two people in. If anyone wants to join, please join. Come on the Discord and go on to open mic. We've got Balked, we've got Stealth Slicer, One Shot, we've got Smiley or Smile. We'll get to it at the end. And we've got Silver on at the moment. So we're going to chat basically about anything. Like I say, it's open mic night tonight. I've got one or two things to say about Sandstorm and the Battlefield leaks, which are doing my head in at the moment. But gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening, everyone. It's good to see you again.
Good evening.
Evening.
Hey there, guys.
Yay!
I want to give a shout out to Emerald, because Emerald is always here like 20, 30 minutes early. Props
Definitely.
to that, man. Props to that,
Dedication right there.
Damn right. It's good to see you, Emerald.
It's a shame. Can you not get on Emerald? Have you got a mic that you could pop on the Discord and get on with us? Because you're the guy that seems to be there, like before everyone. You always say hello before the stream starts, and you just need to know that myself and the panel really appreciate that. It does actually make it worthwhile. We know at least you're going to be there. You come on just before, you say hello, you make an effort, and it really is much appreciated. And it's gone all quiet.
Sorry, I was, for some reason, you were saying, oh, come on and join us and that. And for some reason, I thought that Emerald was in the call. I was expecting him to respond.
All right, okay.
Sorry, my bad, guys, my bad. Yeah.
No, go on,
Stealth. As a shout out to chat, yeah, it is an open mic night. If you have a 2-bit piece of crap mic, so long as we can hear you, jump in chat. We are in a completely open channel tonight. Join the Discord. It's top left-hand corner of the stream. Jump in. Get in chat with us, introduce yourself, let's have some fun.
Yeah, because we don't do this often, open the mic up. What we do is usually when we do an open mic, it's basically the panel will just talk about something and then just interact with the subscribers and people in the chat. Tonight I've fully opened it up, so anyone can join. Like me or dislike me, like the panel or dislike the panel, please come in. Come to the Discord. Like Stel said, it's in the top left there. Come on to the open mic voice chat and say what you want to say. Look, if you disagree with things that I've possibly said in videos or anyone else has possibly said when we've done a live stream, please let us know. It won't turn into an argument. If we can get a discussion about it, we'll get a discussion. If you like the things we do, come and join us. People have just jumped on, like Smiley, Dave One Shot, who's been on the podcast before, and I've got Silver as well. So they've just jumped on, and it's open to everyone out there. So tonight, like I say, it's open mic night. Anyone can talk about anything, but I just wanted to start off by talking a little bit about Sandstorm again and the console. Look, I've had a couple of conversations in the last week with, obviously, if it's a couple, it's two. I've had 2 conversations with 2 different people, and it wasn't initiated by myself, but they came to me and said, Devlin, someone else has said something, and they wanted to come to me, and they've come as a third party and said, Devlin, what are your views on the fact that they believe, and this is 2 separate people just recently, so I don't really know what's going on. 2 separate people have said to me, do you actually think that Insurgency Sandstorm on the console was ever a thing? Or do you think it's bullshit? Now, I've spoke to someone legally, and they look, my answer is to that is yes, I believe it must have been there at some point, because they couldn't have taken pre-orders for that game, because that would be out and out fraud. And I've checked this legally. So I honestly believe, however much I get on NWI's back, I believe even if it's not at this moment, and I'll get onto that further on into the podcast, I believe that it has to have been at some point, even if it may not be now, it has to have been in development for them to put it up for pre-order. I don't know what you boys think.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it makes business sense. It made community sense. Before Insurgency Sandstorm even released, period, PC, console, wherever, it was advertised as, we will bring this to console. So I think that there was honest intentions to bring it to console at some point in time. If they're still there.
Oh, Stealth just go on.
I think
you went
I would
off Stealth.
agree with that, because that would be a business suicide if it's not. Because think of all the lawsuits they're going to get for.
Well, I mean that definitely would happen. And go on, Bot.
So just to a different angle to that, what if they've already run out of money?
It's entirely possible.
But with the Embracer Group, they've got billions upon billions of pounds.
Contracted. So ultimately, if NWI weren't able to pay the bill, they haven't got a massive player count. I know I've gone over this several times. Steam charts paints a pretty poor picture for the game.
See, that's the argument I get balked all the time, that people say, oh, get off the back. I get private messages said, leave them alone. Look, they've not got a massive player base. Why would they consider bringing it out on console? And look, I actually agree with that statement. I do agree with it. But my problem is why have they not said anything then? That's the thing that grates on me. That's the thing that...
They've gone. I think they've done what lots of, and this is probably a little bit harsh, amateurish developers do, and they think this is going to be easy. We'll announce this now.
It's just not.
People are going to pay. It's going to be brilliant. This time next year, we're all going to have Lamborghinis.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't happen because, do you know what? There's technical challenges, there's licensing challenges, there's fees for releasing games on consoles where you don't have that so much on PC. And you've got all of these things that add up into a nice, perfect storm. And you're a few years down the line, you've alienated your community.
Yeah, and I think they've done. I honestly think they've done that.
The thing is, all they had to do is just say that, hey, look, we've run into some issues. We
exactly
didn't think this was going to happen.
Exactly.
We apologize. Exactly. But this goes back to what I was tweeting about the other day. I mean, they recently just said that they released a date for their next update where some revolvers come.
Exactly. I've seen it.
And they said, oh, it's going to come later this month, April something. And I'm like, dude, okay, can we have something more concrete than just late summer? I mean, how many times?
But you won't get anything more. Silver, you will get nothing more, mate.
They're trying to sweep it under the rug.
Exactly. And if anyone gets any tweets from Insurgency Game, Insurgency Sandstorm, any of them, could you get a screenshot for me? Because even my bullshit accounts are now they seem to know who I am straight away. So I don't see it. So if anyone could put a screenshot when they're replying, or if they could just do that and they're subscribed to me on Twitter, just so I can see.
Indicative of how small the community is.
Oh, mate, they've emailed me. Yeah. Johnny Higgins has emailed me.
I think something's important to actually remember about this whole community argument against, for/against console, however you want to frame it, I don't care, is that all of these promises and all of these grand ideas regarding console were when the community was booming at the start of release. I don't think that really plays much of a role in the decision of, do we bring it to console, do we not? Because if you wind the clock back, at the point in time where it had the massive influx of players near release and after release, they were still pushing console. Yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. Your player count was high. You had no reason not to follow through with it at that point in time. Now, as it's ebbed off,
do you not think the release of Sandstorm in itself on PC was an abject failure from my perspective?
I agree with that. It was not
performance issues, again alienating a massive player base from the first standalone game. Low frame rates, crash to desktop, all this stuff that went on for years.
Yeah.
And it's still happening.
Yeah, it's still happening, but we've only had a relatively stable game recently.
Past year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah, but they've balked. In all fairness, I have to say this: the game has been massively downgraded.
But do you know what? In defence of them, I personally believe I'm happy to sacrifice visual fidelity to a degree for that.
I'm with you on that. Definitely with you on that.
And you know what? From a technical standpoint, it's not a AAA ray traced game. It's not, yes, there's always trying to make things look as good as possible. But if you can make the game more accessible, on default settings, do it. Do you know what?
Totally agree.
HD textures if you can do it, but if you can't, most people can't. I don't know if you remember when like Skyrim came out and they brought out the HD texture pack as a separate download.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Same thing. At the time I could run HD textures, but nobody else who could.
Yeah, I think just off the back of that point, now that they've finally released their HD pack again, I'm all for it, as you say, but I am more than happy to sacrifice some graphical fidelity for better performance because we know Sandstorm needs it. But what raises question marks around this, and I'm probably going to take a bit of flack for this because it's a good thing they've done releasing an optional HD pack. Why is my question? Because you got rid of this years ago and you're only now bringing it back. You expect us to just ignore the fact that you hacked the game to pieces, then only realized, oh shit, we've made a mistake. 2 years-ish in advance.
Yeah.
Do you know what?
At least 18 months anyway. Can I just pop in and say we've got Emerald back, so we just wanted to say we really appreciate the fact that you're always there. You're always there beforehand. You're leaving messages. We just wanted to say that we actually really appreciated you. Stealth was saying, I think you might have popped off. You might have not heard it. But what were you saying, Stealth, just while Emerald's back in the chat?
Yeah, right when we started the stream, Devlin did his intro, and before we even started the stream, I said, before we start, I want to give a big shout out to Emerald, because every single time the stream is on, half hour, 20 minutes, 50 minutes, whatever, first message or next to first message, it's always Emerald. He's always here. He's always interacting with us.
Definitely.
It's great to see you, buddy.
Exactly. Just so you know, you're appreciated. Anyway, I've had my thing I wanted to talk about. I'm going to talk a bit more later on, but I'm going to go to Silver. Silver, is there anything you particularly want to talk about tonight? Is he there? Is he there?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. It goes back to, I think, what Stealth was saying. Going back when they tried to do those funny cosmetics.
Oh God!
I wasn't even meaning that. I was meaning
they listen to their, they're so quick to listen to their PC.
Cheers, Chandler.
That's
you know what? Those cosmetics only existed is because there's a huge amount of pandering from the games industry towards China.
That's very true.
Possibly. That's it. That's definitely it.
And you know what? I don't begrudge them doing it.
No, but it's
Chinese market because more money, more games.
Yeah.
Well, just put it in the Chinese edition, because that's what a lot of that. I mean, again, we go into the not being AAA companies, but I'm sure you could make an edition of the game that's just for the Chinese market, because I know, was it Siege? We'll go to Smiley after this. Siege had to take out all the skull images because China just don't like it.
It's kind of like how they do the World War II games, how they have to have a different version for Germany.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. They cannot have a swastika. That's correct.
Totally ruined Return to Castle Wolfenstein.
Yeah. Exactly. I know.
Then again, this goes back to what about the next Battlefield and the next Call of Duty. I don't want a historical game if you're going to neuter it and put all this extra fluff in it. If we're going to have a World War II game,
let's have a World War II game. Yeah, exactly. Totally agree.
I mean, I might sound not open-minded, but I don't want seeing women and and all that, and because we saw the horrific example of Battlefield V.
Yeah, exactly, and it didn't go down too well. Can I just go to the chat? We've got Chandler in the chat, and he says he's got a question, and I'm sure there is people in here that have their opinions on this. And he said, I have a question. What goes into putting a game from console to PC? And I think it's very different, Chandler. For an Xbox, I don't think it's as hard as porting it to a PlayStation. But any of you boys got anything that maybe you could give Chandler here? I think because the Xbox is basically a watered down PC, I don't think it's as hard on an Xbox. Any of you boys got any thing you'd like to put in?
So since the PS4 generation, pretty much all the consoles are x86 architecture, which means they are PCs for all intents and purposes. The biggest problem, I guess, is the quality aspect, turning everything down. Now, that may not be the same for the
current gen.
Yeah. But definitely the older gen, you had to turn everything down. There's a lot to go. There's a lot of quality testing that goes into it. There's a difference in the way that you're designing it, essentially.
Yeah,
it's different products ultimately.
Yeah,
correct.
I know we discussed this a couple of streams back, actually.
We did.
And we were talking about how Xbox has, as far as I'm aware, has always run on what's essentially a stripped-down version of Windows, whereas PlayStation, I can't remember off the top of my head exactly what OS it's based on, but it's essentially a bespoke OS. And that doesn't have a insanely huge impact on things, but it's still an impact on things. It's like how you get programs which will run on Windows PCs and Mac PCs, but not on Linux, or Windows and Linux, but not on Macs, and things like that. So that's another factor to sort of consider for it, because if we think about what Bork said, if you get a kitten and a puppy, and that's your Xbox and your PlayStation, whatever, and then you bring in something like a lion or a tiger, you can kind of see the comparison if you consider that PCs are Windows-based, i.e. Windows is the big lion, a Xbox is a smaller feline of some description, but porting something from PSOS to a Windows OS, for example, it's a bit different, because then you're comparing, a canine to a feline. There are smaller hurdles like that as well. But
one of the major issues as well comes down to dependencies.
Exactly.
So just because your application runs in one environment where all of the dependencies are designed for that environment doesn't mean all your dependencies are designed for another. So
I'm not sure. Chandler's just put there. So almost essentially a brand new game from PC to console. I don't actually think it is. No, I don't think it is. I think there's just not small changes, because I'm trying to simplify something I don't really know about. Go on, mate. Go on.
In the US, I can't remember, but there's a certain width between the rail lines, which is, I believe, different to Europe. Don't quote me on that, but it's different to somewhere else in the world. And if you get a train and you put it on the US rail lines, it will work fine. That's your console. If you take that exact same, or somewhere else in the world, I can't remember what it is, the gauge, which is the difference between the rails, is slightly different. So there's a higher chance of things either not working or not working properly. That's kind of what you're trying to do. You're trying to bridge the gap, essentially. It's still a train. It still does what a train does. You just need to bridge it. To give a more in-depth example, I've got an old game reinstalled on my PC. 2004, so Windows XP era, basically. And that
good operating system.
That requires something called glide wrappers to essentially communicate with modern hardware, because all of the bridging stuff, essentially, that lets the game communicate with your GPUs, etc., just doesn't exist anymore. It's been deprecated.
Has it? Is it gone?
I don't know the exacts, but essentially that glide wrapper takes the old calls that the game is doing. So the game is asking the PC to do ABC, but ABC doesn't exist anymore. So that glide wrapper translates it to the modern equivalent, let's say, essentially.
Okay.
So it's all abstracts. Yeah, exactly. It abstracts.
Yeah.
And that's the major hurdle that Bork and I are mainly saying is it's not like the game is different. All your assets are going to work exactly.
Yeah.
They're going to be physically the same files. It's just how you get the system to interpret and run those files will be ever so slightly different. It's like punctuation marks or accents within the same language.
Sorry, it's the same language. It's just spoken slightly different.
Yeah. If I ask you for pie and chips in English and I ask you for pie and chips in French, I still want pie and chips.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, pie and chips in America would be, chips here is like potato chips.
Exactly.
So it'd be crisp and apple pie.
That's another great example of for like the subtle differences. We know what we want. It's the same words, but it has a different meaning.
You also have the issue of, okay, so you've ported your game over, you're going through Q&A, and you're doing your testing, and you come across a bug on your PlayStation version that you can't recreate in your Xbox version.
That's I suppose that's an issue as well.
Yeah. Now you have two different code bases with two different sets of outcomes in the same scenario.
Yes.
So you fix one, and then you find one in the other system that's vice versa, and you end up you are developing essentially two separate code bases with their own set of problems, their own set of limitations, their own set of
problems or issues.
Yeah. It's two different forks of the same project, and that takes a lot of development time.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just want to move on, Chandler. I hope that has answered your question in some way without getting too technical for you. I just want to bring in Smiley. Smiley, is there anything you want to talk about? I know you've been playing Rainbow Six Siege just recently on PC. Is there anything you want to talk about tonight? Anything you want us to discuss?
Well, I was a diehard console player, so when NWI announced that Insurgency would go to console,
yep,
I was really happy. I was like, yeah, let's go. We have finally a game coming out on console that's different than all the other games that are coming out. And when the video came out of the 25th of August being delayed, at the first, I was like, that's not gonna happen. They delayed it already so many times. And 2 days after the 25th of August, I canceled my pre-order. And then I messaged Devlin, like, I have issues with getting my refund.
Money back.
Yeah. So at one certain point, I went to the Microsoft supporter and I got my money back. But yeah, I don't know if there's still somebody.
There's still lots of people, mate. They're still messaging me. There's still lots of people that have not got refunds.
If you mind me insert my thing is, I agree with him. When I saw the pre-orders for this back then, I was, this close to pre-ordering it myself, but I remembered that, don't the golden rule.
Never pre-order anything.
No. The only game I have ever pre-ordered is Battlefield Hardline, and I still don't regret it.
And I still love that game. Right, Smiley, back in, mate. Go on, carry on.
Yeah. So when I refunded my game, I saw a lot of comments like, people can't get their money back.
Yeah.
So I always try to repeat it to the message, like, go to Microsoft Store, go to the customer service.
Yeah.
There you have to be able to get your money back. But yeah, I don't know if still people are doing that or if there's.
Well, I was talking to a guy, and I think I put it in a video one time that he said to me, please put my letters up, and obviously I redacted his name and blah blah blah. People like Barclaycard couldn't get money back. He paid it on a credit card, and even those people, Barclaycard, couldn't get the money back. And I understand that they have to go to Xbox because the purchase was made from Xbox, and a lot of people are saying to me, you know, Devlin, you're chastising NWI, and it was bought on the Xbox store. The Xbox are responsible for it. But then I said, well, can NWI not just step in and help these people? Because there's still people. And honestly, if you look at some of the comments on some of my videos, people are still saying, I've pre-ordered and I hope it still comes out, because they don't realise the game was cancelled. That is no longer a product. And NWI have just, I not begged, but I've pleaded with them, please go out there and help these people. Just go to Microsoft, say, look, can you look at your records, look at your database? There is vacant money out there, and people just want it back. But even a guy who actually went to his credit card company, and I've seen the letters, he allowed me to put them up on videos, and they said, we can't get your money back for you. And that guy was charged twice.
Yeah, I think
that's
the thing that... Sorry, go on, Spell.
No, go on.
The thing that I was just going to... It pains me every time we mention this topic, because it's gotten to the point with this farce. It's gone on so long, and it's been so difficult for people to resolve, that they're literally turning to content creators and people that they just enjoy.
I know, it's madness.
They're asking us to help them. And
it's madness.
We are not physically involved in the process in any way, shape, or form, but they still feel that their only and or best hopes remaining are to go to the people in the community who are confronting this problem and say, please help me, because no one else will.
Exactly.
That's insane.
It's bad. It's bad. Yeah. That in fact, it's not even bad. It's disgusting. And I don't want to get on a rant tonight, because I save that for my videos. I like to be calm on the podcast. But you know what? It totally disgusts me, the way they have treated the console community. And I know I do get decent views. I do get subscribers from the console videos. But you know what? People thought I'd stop. People thought, oh, he's doing it just for the views. I don't do it just for the views. I have spoke to people like Smiley will tell you. I've spoke privately with him and said, I'll do what I'll do whatever I can. I actually contacted NWI. They bumped me. They didn't get back to me. I have had conversations with people at NWI, but soon as I talk about the console, soon as I talk about, can you help these people get their money back? They don't want to know. People think I'm just being shitty and salty to NWI. No, in the background, I actually do try and do something. And I'm so glad that Smiley came on tonight, because I did have private conversations with you, didn't I?
Yeah, we did.
Exactly. Exactly. So in the background, we've got One Shot Dave. Dave, are you still there, mate?
Yeah, I'm still here. Just rolling.
Is there anything you want to talk about? I know you have some views about Battlefield, but is there anything you want to talk about tonight that we can discuss?
Yeah. Well, obviously, I've not played Insurgency like the rest of you because I don't have a PC.
Yeah.
At the moment, I've just got a PS4 and PS5.
I hear there's a console version coming out in the summer.
Yeah. Yeah. Which one balked?
I don't know. I'm confused.
It's a lucky dip.
Go on, Dave.
Just don't pre-order it.
Yeah.
No,
again.
The only game I've ever pre-ordered that, funnily enough, recently was Cyberpunk, and I've still got it.
And that was fun. Oh, you enjoyed that though.
I love Cyberpunk with all the updates now. It's almost perfect.
Wait till you play Insurgency. So
I know, yeah. It's awesome. It is actually an awesome game, in all fairness. Right, Dave, go on. You wanted to say?
Just a couple of things, really, just quick ones. There's actually rumours going around that Call of Duty 2021 or Vanguard, whatever it's called, has been cancelled for this year.
Heard it. Yeah, heard it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely heard it.
And they're mainly going to focus on the Modern Warfare 2 remaster.
I've heard that, and I don't know if anyone's seen my tweet. I said apparently they're going to. They did the Modern Warfare 2 campaign. They did a reissue. Well, apparently because people want it, obviously Modern Warfare 2. They are actually going to do a remaster of the multiplayer. And my issue was, I said it'll be Modern Warfare 2019 with MW2 maps. So I just think it's going to be proper lazy, to be honest.
Oh, I understand. You're kind of like a MW19 2 kind of thing.
Exactly.
In the exact trilogy.
Exactly. And I think it'll be on Modern Warfare 2019's engine. And all they're going to do is remaster the maps. And I just think that'd be a lazy option. To be honest, I'll enjoy it. I'll play it and I'll like it. But I think when Dave was saying Vanguard apparently is going to be cancelled, there's nothing set in stone about that, in all fairness. But I personally think it's a good thing, because them going back to World War II, I just don't think is a good move.
I don't know. Yeah,
I got to agree that I don't see it being anything but a well-worked remaster, really. You see it all over. Excuse me. You see it all over the games industry. Why reinvent the wheel? Just port the maps. We see it everywhere. I don't see why they wouldn't.
They could just actually do an update to Modern Warfare 2019. They could just do it as an update and say, look, give us 15 quid and we'll just add those maps. But Emerald's just said there, they need to fix Modern Warfare 2019. Can't even access the game because of some sort of copy ad. Will Vanguard be delayed or scrapped altogether? Apparently I've heard there's problems with Modern Warfare at the moment, but will Vanguard be delayed or scrapped altogether? I honestly don't know. This is just something the last few days that they said they are going to not be releasing 2021 Call of Duty, and they're going to be concentrating solely on Warzone. I think that's the biggest money maker for them, and I totally understand that. But
pretty logical as well, because if you look at the latest Black Ops, I don't know how the game called, Cold War.
Cold War, Cold War.
So I played that game on console from the release day.
Sure.
After 3 days, I stopped playing it, mate.
Did you just not like it?
I didn't enjoy it at all. It was terrible, in my opinion. In my opinion, it was, just
What
rushed.
gave you that opinion, for some context for people?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a personal thing. Like,
but there's actually a lot of people saying that, though, that they really don't like Cold War. Do you know what? I enjoy it. I still enjoy it. I still, go on, have an hour or so.
Maybe it's just because I've played Call of Duty for so long.
Sure.
The campaign
I am just ready for something else. Like, I fixed my PC now, and I've been starting playing Hell Let Loose, Insurgency, like those hardcore tactical games.
Yeah.
And that's not. You can't find those games on a console. So.
Yeah, I'm getting to be about the same, dude. The duopoly of Battlefield and COD is like really getting a little stale, and that's why I was excited when I heard that Sandstorm
about Sandstorm,
the console. But we all know how that's going. So.
But I think that's where they've missed out, though.
Enlisted too, but then I saw it was X series only.
Exactly. I know. I honestly don't understand that. Enlisted, I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be an X series only too. So I guess I might have to invest in one coming up.
If you can find one, I've been looking for one for months. But that baffled me, to be honest, why it's only on this gen console and not on the Xbox One and the PS4. It totally baffled me because, I'm sure that game could run on last gen previous gen consoles.
It should be. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, and it's a cracking little game. Bork's really good at these tactical games, so he thinks it's really easy. It's like the good balance for me, something like Enlisted or Sandstorm, and that's why I think I enjoy Sandstorm so much, because it's like it's
halfway, sort of.
It's in between. Yeah, it's totally in between, and it's a game I really, really enjoy. I still enjoy it, but going back to the fact that the player base is so low, I'm going to say I don't think, and I'm going to say one or two things that I said I was going to say at the beginning, that look, I don't think it's ever come to console, regardless which console it is, this gen, last gen. I've heard from someone that it's no longer a priority. Saber Interactive are not actively working on this game. They've got other projects, and Insurgency Sandstorm is not a priority to be brought out on console. So if it is, I think that, NWI Father Hank should be saying that it is. Put people like me to bed, put people like me to sleep, and say, look, that guy is wrong. It is coming out. They'll give a date and it'll never come out on that date. But this guy is wrong. It is going to come out. But if you look at it like the gentleman was talking about tonight, if you look at it as a business, it is totally not feasible anymore for this game to come out on console. And I think it's about time that NWI turned around to Father Hank and said, look, just tell them. Let Devlin have his glory. Just tell them that it's not coming out, because obviously we know that, in the next maybe few months, maybe longer than a few months, they're going to be announcing this new game. And I think that they're just hoping that you'll forget about Insurgency Sandstorm on console, and probably a lot of people have. But I'm sorry, I'm not going to let you forget the fact the way you've treated the console community. So for me, this game is never going to come out on console. If it does, I'll be really happy, because it's a great game, smashing game, small community at the moment, but it's a great game.
Yeah, I mean,
for console, it's really something new, and that's what console really needs.
Exactly, and we'll go there as we were talking Enlisted. Emerald 90, I think Enlisted needs more maps. Look, Emerald, I was ready to invest in the company. I would have helped them out buying packs, and they're calling them campaigns, which is basically new maps. They're calling them campaigns, and they want £60, 59 for it. Look,
that's the same price as a AAA release.
Exactly. I'll support a game, but shit, man, it might only be one map
For 2 additional campaigns.
That reminds me of that guy. I know this is a little not towards Insurgency, but
it's open mic night, Silver. It's open mic night.
You can say what you want.
Yeah. Well, that reminds me of this article.
That's the guy.
Reminds me of this article about the guy that made the Days Gone.
Okay.
He was pissed that there wasn't going to be a sequel. And he said, if you want games to get a sequel, you need to buy it at full price when it releases.
No.
Shit. I don't think it totally works that way, in all fairness.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but if you want to be successful, don't blame your consumers for your mistakes.
That's
correct.
You guys have phones level of faux pas, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If you don't like what I'm saying, don't buy the game. All right, we won't.
The consumer base has the most powerful vote of all. The vote of their wallet.
Emerald 19. I mean, definitely stealth. They will vote with the wallet. But Emerald 98 will enlisted be having more maps for free if you wait. Look, this is the ironic thing. See this thing they're asking for 59 UK pounds for. So what's that in dollars? $65, $70? So, something like that. It's actually going to come out for free anyway. So
$39.99 on the consoles.
How much?
$39.99.
No, Jesus.
Fucking hell.
But do you know what? It's coming out for free anyway if you wait for it.
$76 is the answer to that.
Shit, $76. So
55 quid is $76.
So, if you pay, they wanted 59 UK pounds, which is late $70 in the US. And for what they've openly told you, you will get for nothing. And this is hoping for support. Look, if they said to me, okay, we're going to give you this for a tenner, I would buy every single one that came out. Yeah. If you're asking me for 60 quid for one update that I know is going to be free, then it's just not happening. If I was going to support a developer and they asked for £10 to just help us out, keep this game going, because I do enjoy it, I would all day long throw a tenner at this. But don't ask me for £60.
I mean, if I like something and it's free to play, I don't mind paying, buying a cosmetic or
correct.
Two.
Yeah.
But, if it's, if it's something like Activision, where they have all these greedy micro cosmetics.
Yeah, it's not happening.
To be honest, I've only bought the things with the free COD points they've given me.
Exactly. If I play COD, I've actually got 900 at the moment, and I won't pay $199 for that company. So all I need is 100 COD points.
Just in respect to enlisted, take the game aside and all of that, the fact that it's being published by Gaijin, those greedy Russian guys behind War Thunder.
Sure.
Going back about 5 years ago, War Thunder, if you were to buy everything in the game with real cash, was about $10,000 or something.
How much?
Yes.
Yeah, if you were to buy everything in the game, and this is going back years, 5 years maybe, it would have cost you $10,000.
To buy everything in the game if you were paying with real money.
You could have bought a nice used car for that.
Shit.
Buy a new car for that.
Or if you just stopped playing War Thunder, you could have got a job and worked hard and bought even more.
Yeah. There is that as well.
Hang on.
But no, they're a relatively exploitative business model that they pushed, but people pay.
And you know what people do though, and that's the unfortunate thing. I mean, you've got a set of intelligent guys sat here tonight. We're all just having a chat. We're doing an open mic night tonight. We know the script. We know what's going on. But there is people out there that... Right, okay, I'm going to say it. There's people out there that are gamers like us, and they're not as... The word I'm going to use, I'm not sure if you use it in America and Holland, but it's savvy. We're quite savvy, the guys on the panel tonight. But there's people... I wouldn't say that.
Been around the block a few times.
But there's people out there that sit there, lonely people, and their release is playing games, and it's these sort of people that will buy into this, that want to be the best or look the best or have everything in a particular game so they can flex, because that's the only way they can flex. Because there's a lot of lonely people out there.
It's the same with the sweats you see in Call of Duty.
Yeah.
That they're like this 11 prestige, 12 prestige, and the game just came out or something.
I think something to quickly follow up on that though is, because I'm absolutely sure that someone who is part of or vaguely related to that will eventually listen to this, but that's absolutely not an attack against you guys. All power to you if that's what you want to do with free time and you enjoy that.
Correct.
I used to be someone who what do you do free time? I go online and I game. And that was basically my only hobby. And yeah, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. We are not saying that at all. What we are saying is more the economic side of it and how it's exploitative towards the consumer.
It's the same with the loot crates and the loot boxes. The only reason these people,
which is nice.
the only reason
this all comes down to a small chemical reaction in the brain, a little bit of dopamine when you unlock something or you get something,
and it is.
People will pay for keys for loot boxes. People will pay 10, 20, £50 for a plane or a tanking game, and they get the same rush. They get the junk, it opens, and they go yes, and then they realise that there's people who spent £100 who are now better than them in game.
Exactly.
They're going to sit there, going to save up their 100 just to be as good as the next guy. It's pure play to win mentality.
And that's exactly, I mean, because I think these people come out and said that's exactly what they're doing. And for argument's sake, these big streamers, they let them have all these cosmetics and these guns or whatever. So the people... the vulnerable people out there will say, I want to be that person. I want to be Shroud. I want to be Dr. Disrespect. I want to be these people. Little did they know that they've probably been given all these bollocks for nothing.
This subject, sorry, brings me on to something that I really want to talk about tonight.
Sure.
Which is really important that nobody's talking about, and this is going to happen over the next 5 years, maybe even less, where games like Call of Duty and games like Battlefield.
I've got an open bloody. My missus's fizz. Hang on.
They're not going to be games in the traditional sense like you buy them now. They're going to become a service. They're going to be subscription modelled.
Yeah, like
because
3 months.
That's it. It's going to cost you £120 a year to play.
They should do that. They should do that with FIFA.
No, they shouldn't do it with anything.
Years ago,
because they're removing the idea of the product, and it becomes the service, and it gives all of the control, 110% of it, to the developers and publishers, and completely removes all of the independence from the consumer's point of view. You own nothing but access to a service, and that
like Game Pass.
Exactly.
Then they can turn it off any time they want.
Exactly. It's the complete giving up of individual sovereignty as a consumer.
That's why I really prefer to buy physical. I mean, I'll buy digital if I have to, or if it's on a deep sale. But most of the time, I prefer to buy physical.
That's actually a good thing to talk about, in all fairness, because I went totally from buying physical to totally now just buying downloadable content.
I used to do that. I used to do that too, but at one time, one of my accounts on Xbox got banned. I told you about this story before. I think I have that too. I didn't even do anything on this account. I'm sharing me and my roommates. We shared the one Xbox, and something happened one day where he did something egregious enough to get the console banned.
Oh dear! And that's the console gone, regardless what account's on it.
Banned everything on the console.
Shit.
And I was trying to tell them, hey, look, my account didn't do anything, and they're like, sorry, dude. They just go deny.
MAC address.
Listening to me.
Yeah, shit. We'll sell you a new one if you want to play again.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
What Bork has just said, actually, I completely agree with you. I completely see us going in that direction, because something that happened recently is the whole legal debate over loot boxes gambling. And I certainly think that
I firmly believe that they are.
They are. And our US viewers won't really be too in touch with this yet. But over in Europe, there has actually been significant legal progress with this, to the point where, I don't know if you're familiar with Elder Scrolls Online, but Elder Scrolls Online has a loot box system. You can buy a crate and it will give you purely cosmetic items. Occasionally it might give you something that's like, it's 50% XP for 4 hours or whatever like that. But those are very cheap level items anyway. But the main sell is the very fancy cosmetics and that. recently they have announced that the loot boxes and the premium currency that you buy for real money will remain in the game, but there is going to be a new system introduced so that everything that is in those premium boxes can be earned in-game with zero expenditure.
That should be the case anyway for me. That definitely should be the case for me.
No, but the way they get around this is they make it almost impossible to get by just playing.
Which is very true, and that is... I'm not going to say that's where the direction the ESO is going, because I haven't seen exactly where it's going, but it's going to be difficult. We've sussed that much. But my point is, with gaming industries or games, whatever you want to term these things, having to be legally now pushed to give up their main source of revenue, which is those loot boxes, absolutely 110% agree with Bork. We're going to see an increase in subscription-based stuff, because that is highly legal. No one can challenge them on it, and it's going to keep getting them the money that they're going to lose on loot crates.
Yeah, because this reminds me. I think I remember seeing a chart on Modern Warfare 19 and how much they made from it, and this was billions of dollars. And I think only 20% of it was from the actual game, and the rest of it was from the COD points and and stuff like that.
Correct.
Do you know what bothers me? And I mean, I'm just reading the chat at the moment. Emerald's making some comments, and do you know what really bothers me? And he, one of his questions, it's a joke. The prices Activision still charge so high for digital. He said old digital CODs, but I think it's any digital download should be well cheaper than a physical copy, because there's no logistics, there's no physical copies, there's no staff to sell it. It's a download. I personally think, and I'll go to Smiley because I know he's trying to jump in here. What do you think? Do you think that a digital download copy of a game should be a lot less expensive than a physical copy?
I don't think it should be less or more, but I wanted to go back to the CODs, like the old CODs that you can buy digitally. The lowest price on one of those games is like, for me, it's like 20 euros.
How you doing, Slavic?
That's like maybe 25 quid.
Okay.
I think that's outrageous.
Yeah, I know.
This brings me to another point, because I remember looking at before they made those games backwards compatible on the one. I remember seeing Black Ops 2, Black Ops, all that. Black Ops 2 was $20 or $19.99. Then the day after, or the same day it became backwards compatible, they shot it up to $50. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's true. You can look at the store right now. It's $50.
Shit. So Dave, one shot. Are you still there?
Over the past.
Oh, I was just checking if one shot was. You're still there, Dave?
Yeah.
So right. Okay. So, what are your views on digital download copies of games? I mean, there's a lot of people out there like. We've just talked about like to have the physical copies. Do you personally think that they should be cheaper if it's just a digital download? Because in effect, I'm gonna put it as basic. It's not a little file if you're talking about COD or something, but it's a file that's on a computer somewhere else. You pay for it, you download it. Do you think this should be the same? Do you think there should be a difference in price, or what are your views on that?
Well, yeah, I mean, I've obviously, I've got the PS5, and I only managed to be able to get the digital version. So, I can only download.
Sure.
But yeah, I do think there should be. I think the game should be cheaper, because you've not got a physical copy, you've not got a product. Like you said, you've not got staff in a shop selling it to you, so there's none of that.
There's no logistics, no nothing.
And the benefit of having a physical copy is you can sell it on if you want to.
Correct. So, in effect, that should be more expensive, or the digital copy should be less expensive than a physical copy. I mean, maybe it's just me. I'm not sure what any of the other guys they've had their say, and I think Smiley said he's not really bothered about a difference in price. I just look at it that way. I look at it like what you've just said, Dave, is that you can sell it on, you can make a little bit of money, which maybe could be the difference between a physical or a digital copy.
From a kind of a different angle, I'm NWI, and I've just brought out my physical copy of Insurgency Sandstorm on consoles, and I don't know, 100,000 people buy it in the first week. And 50,000 of those people decide it's not for them, it's not their kind of game, and they go trade it in or sell it on Facebook or to a friend or whatever. I make zero off that. Zero off those resales. I know, the people didn't like the game.
Exactly. I suppose.
That's the risk you take. I've still put the work in. I've still put the effort in. I've still spent a huge amount on bringing this game to market, and I'm getting absolutely nothing for the resales. And do you know what? As a consumer, I do believe that as an individual, you should have your right to do that. But I also do think the logical thing to do would be make it digital only. You get paid for every copy that you sell, whether the person likes it or not. Sure. And that covers the cost of the game. Now, should the cost be the same for the digital version as the physical version? Do you know what? I think yes, because we generally agree there is a certain price we're willing to pay for a product. For me, a AAA game is around the 50 quid mark. I know they go a bit higher now these days. Ubisoft looking at you, 80, 90 quid for stupid crap on top. But yeah, 50 quid for the base game, I think it's fair.
See, I'm quite happy. I
think I might actually agree with Devlin. I mean, you're not actually physically investing anything and making the disc. So I
think it's all to do with what goes with the fact of getting that to the shops and that. As I know,
mediums are relevant. The medium is relevant. It's the product that counts. Now, this
Borks, I totally agree with that. It's the product that does count. It's what you get as an end result. What I'm saying is they have to spend zero on logistics, spend zero on staff for shop. I mean, obviously the shops get it a wee bit cheaper, but there's no. It's like there's no middleman. It's like buy it from us because.
If you release,
you're just going to
you pay 30% to Valve for having the luxury of that.
Right, but no, I totally agree. I understand what you're saying there, but say for argument's sake, like Activision or EA, even though a lot of the Battlefield games are now back on Steam, they sell it directly from as a first party. They sell it direct. Look, if I buy COD, if I buy the next COD, I'm buying it from Activision, regardless how I buy it, digitally or physically. I'm buying it from Activision.
It'll cost you the same price.
That's what I'm saying, and I'm saying
they've factored in the cost that there's a limited physical market these days compared to what there was. In all likelihood, they are probably going to lose more on a physical copy than they are on a digital copy. They're going to sell more digital copies than they are physical copies, and that will make up the deficit. Like, I think, if we were having this conversation 15 years ago, I think absolutely you're right in what you were saying, because there was a big enough physical market to justify the difference.
Digital price being lower.
Right. I don't think that's the case now. I think the majority of your revenue comes from digital sales, because you're going to buy it from a platform, you're going to buy it from Steam, you're going to buy it from Epic, or you're going to buy it first party from your own platform now, which is what big publishers are able to do.
Sure.
But that comes with overheads. You've got your server costs, you've got the development of your platform, you've got all of these things.
There's my missus in the chat.
That probably cost you more than a CD or a DVD,
Right.
I am actually in agreement with Booked, because I think something we have to remember is that the setups and the running costs for online distribution, they still exist. It's not a free investment, and also people have this sort of not quite right mentality that because I have a physical object, it's worth more. In terms of ownership, absolutely, it's 100% more ownership. But the thing is, creating a disc, cheap, incredibly cheap. You're talking pennies, if not less, to actually produce that stock. The only real cost comes from physically shipping that stock around. And something that is incredibly important to remember about that is that oftentimes you will print, quote unquote, burn all your discs, whatever, for pennies on the dollar to what you're going to sell them, and then you will sell them to market. And market is responsible for shipping that stock to themselves.
Correct.
If you sell it to, I don't know, let's say the local high street shop or whatever, it will be sold from Activision to the high street shop. It is then the high street shop's property. It's up to them to put it through their distribution.
Oh, I don't know if stuff went off then.
So the cost differences. Oh, sorry. The actual cost differences, really small when you actually look at it, because the shipping is deferred onto the final retailer as opposed to the actual developer and the creator of that product. So I'm on Buck's. I'm going to agree with Buck's logic and thought here.
You take into account.
I'm just going to pop off. I think my camera's turned off. I'll be back. Keep the chat going.
Yeah, go on, Buck.
So, yeah, just to put a different angle on this as well. Okay, so you bought your physical game, you own it, it's in a box at home, you've got a DVD, that's great. But we now live in 2021, where you still have to have an internet connection to play that game. So it's no difference in terms of value to a digital copy. You still need the same criteria to play.
That's the one. If you mind if I say something, that's the one thing that. That's the one thing that irritates me about these games is why do I have to be online or on an internet connection when I'm playing an offline game? It's like with the Xbox now. Sometimes it'll say, you can't sign in right now when you don't have an internet connection. I'm like, I'm not even trying to do anything on the internet. I just want to...
I think it's a product of
copy protection and hacking.
Take that out of it, and it's the actual games as a service. It's it's your in-game profile.
Yeah.
It's your character's avatar, which is linked to the and then you've got the fact that everybody's obsessed with stats, no matter how useless they are. KD ratio, how many times you've been revived. All of these stupid stats are logged on the server, and everybody wants access to them immediately. So they have to force an online, and I'm sure there's plenty of developers who sit there who'd much rather not have the ball ache of collecting those stats and doing that job. But it's what the market demands.
Yeah, I mean,
okay, right. Sorry.
Go for it, buddy.
I don't know if you'd heard at all, actually. Just recently, it's just come out with regards to the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. I think the Xbox Series X is in a bit of a worse position. But they've got a problem there with the onboard battery.
Oh, what's the issue?
Yeah, the issue is that if that battery fails, you've got to have an internet connection to play any of your games.
Yeah.
What, even single player games that you don't need
single player games?
Shit.
Yeah, I was just talking about this. I was just talking about this while you were gone now, Devlin.
But apparently the Xbox Series X is in a worse position because it doesn't have an onboard battery. It has like a capacitor or something in its stead.
Wow. I just want to let everyone know, by the way, I apologise. This is the worst thing about doing a stream with a DSLR. Tonight, there's going to be no limit on how long we talk because it's an open mic. So I thought I'll do an open amount of time. So we'll just finish it when we're finishing it. No Cinematic said there was a bit of static or whatever. There was. I heard it myself, actually, but I wasn't sure where it was.
Yeah, I can confirm. I heard it too, but... I wasn't going to say anything.
Yeah. But it went away. Obviously, obviously there was an issue, and it's gone away. So I think I wanted to go to this, what Emerald said, as we're speaking about consoles. He said, where's it gone? Oh, can't take. Oh, it's actually up on the thing. But he said something about the PlayStation 6 being basically all totally being digital. Do you think this is where the people who are in the chat, the voice chat at the moment, do you think eventually everything will be just digital download only? Yes. We'll go with Stealth first, and then we'll go to Bot.
I guess I'm the only one that disagrees. I don't think physical will ever die, because my points earlier, I think there's always going to be a demand to actually own something, whether
for the die-hard collector.
Yeah, I suppose. I suppose.
Especially with games too, but I think especially with music, because
it's like vinyl. Vinyl's getting a resurge now.
I can't imagine. I can't remember the last time I might have actually bought a CD.
Do you know DVD will never have a resurgence?
Why is that?
Because it's just an increased size version of a CD. And Blu-ray is an increase of that. It's it doesn't have any character. It's just a.
Okay, I can see.
Anyone remember the Philips discs?
Yeah.
God.
I remember Blockbuster though.
Yeah, Philips Laserdisc. Yeah, would you like one of these? 1994 or something. It'll cost you $2,500.
Yeah, but the quality was still better than DVD. So. But no, I think you won't see a resurgence. And one of the main reasons is this is all about size. Regardless.
Apparently, it doesn't matter, Bort.
I keep on hearing this.
Well, Activision sure doesn't care about size. Just look at
But they're not going to sell you the next COD game on a DVD.
No, exactly.
Because they can't. And you know what? Physical formats, there hasn't really been that much, unless they're going to start selling, micro SD cards.
Games, yeah, exactly, or USB sticks.
That's not going to happen. Everybody within the next 10 years is going to have very, very fast internet comparatively to what they have today.
Yeah.
Emerald VHS will never come back. Actually, I'm going to say something about this. Being a boomer and an older geezer, the Betamax videos were much better quality than the VHS by far.
Yeah,
by far.
Something.
That sounds about right. The thing that didn't take off was actually better.
But do you know why VHS was more successful?
Was this is this the porn industry thing, or was that DVD?
No, they beat Betamax to market.
Oh yeah, that was Betamax.
Was that it? That was just it.
And this is a common thing, especially in the tech industry. The product that gets to market first
wins.
Everybody buys into.
I thought it was just mass production, to be honest.
To be fair,
it's like
there are other
and HDVD.
Exactly the same thing. There are other elements to it. There are, easier production and that kind of thing. But regardless, if you invest in anything, it becomes easy to produce. But generally, as a rule of thumb, if you get to market first, you've already won the war.
Yeah, that's very true.
And that shit seems like a simple strategy. But,
NWI have been trying it all year.
Yeah, it just didn't work. Yeah. Just ignore everyone. We're first at that. We'll just ignore everyone. It's bound to work.
Well, to be
fucking
fair,
idiots.
Nobody else is trying to bring Insurgency to console. So
look, balked. No one is trying to bring Insurgency to console. Absolutely no one. Saber Interactive. I'm not even going to go there because I don't even know what I've been told is totally true. But it's not. It's just not. And it's a pain in the arse, and I think they should just come clean. Do you know what? Emerald, can I ask you a question? What countries do you live in? Just if Emerald can put in the chat, if anyone sees it afterwards. Because I'm going to send you, if I can get it to you, I'm going to send you one of my mugs. I'm really proud of my mugs, actually.
they look good. I'm not.
Mate, I use them myself. They look cool, actually.
Because that's the thing. You always see that people, first thing they bring out when they get merch is just a mug. But looking at that, no, I actually quite like it.
Let me get one. Hold on.
Here we are, lads. Next is going to be t-shirts, and it's going to be hoodies.
Yeah, next week it's going to be like Linus Tech Tips. He's going to do a seamless transition into a.
Let's in chat.
We're gonna hear him say what technology's based on next.
Here is the Restless Natives lunchbox.
Yeah.
Because I actually, sorry, gents, I just walked straight in. Because I actually think Emerald, if anyone, would deserve something like this.
I agree.
But I don't know if you can. I'm just going to hold it up. I'm trying to watch it might be too. I'm trying to get it. So let me turn that light that way. No, it makes it darker. But because of the way I've got it set up. But anyway, look, Emerald, if you're somewhere that I can get this to a half reasonable price, I will send it. In fact, fuck it, where you from? I'll send it. I'll get it sent to you, and then I'll get one of these mugs out.
Signing up for like a PO box in the Pacific Islands you can get to.
Yeah.
But they're actually quite decent. In all fairness, I'm not just saying that, they're quite decent. I actually bought. They took weeks to come. I got them from a place in Germany.
Oh man! If I wanted one, you'd have to ship them across the Atlantic.
No, it cost me about 30 quid to send it.
Look at chat.
No, JW, you know exactly. JW, have you just been watching North Stream? Because you know we're not the same person. Did North not? Because North was streaming tonight. Did he not do camera like I do? I'm not sure.
So we've now got. Oh, hello.
Yes. Hello there. How are you lot?
So
who have we got in? Oh, is that Ali?
Yes.
Oh, how you doing, Ali? Not seen you for a while.
Yeah, I've been catching up with the European Super League, and things ain't looking good so far with the 3 owners.
I've seen it. Yeah.
And I've seen it on Sky Sports, and when I saw that, I was like, what is going on with football nowadays?
Yeah, but only a few clubs have said yes to it. There's a lot of clubs that
Liverpool never said yes to it. Never. They were like saying, we want to back out of it. I don't want to fall for these owner schemes because, let me tell you, a fun fact is football was made by the Pope.
Made by the what? The Pope?
Taken away by rich people. Which is not the Pope. Poor people.
Shootout.
But anyway, Ali, we're talking about games.
Oh.
No.
About Insurgency Sandstorm. I've been waiting for the release of the console version.
You're such a dick, Ali. So Ali, have you been playing? I know you like Call of Duty. Have you been playing it recently?
Yeah, I've been playing Cold War. I've been doing.
So okay, we were talking about that earlier. So, what are your views? Because Smiley, the guy you've just been talking to, he's not over keen on it. I've been really enjoying it. In all fairness,
in my opinion, I just dropped the ball on it. I will never buy a new COD game.
Wow, that's a big statement, Smiley. That's a big statement.
If it's the campaign, I would. In terms of the campaign, I would buy it. Depends if the campaign and the other mode's amazing. With the multiplayer, there is a lot of issues. Firstly, that
I just don't like the multiplayer for Cold War this year.
A lot.
I just think it's just
I like
empty.
the campaign a lot, and the zombies I think was the only
campaign was gripping. Not gonna lie, it's so visceral. As in, I was doing this mission in Vietnam where I was out of a helicopter that spun down.
Stealth, fuck off! Stealth's posted in the chat. Yeah.
The only thing that bothers me about the campaign in Cold War is you got the M16A1.
Yeah, you are actually.
M16.
Yeah.
But you're stuck with the burst fire one and the multiplayer.
The weapons ain't accurate in multiplayer. There's a good reason why they're not accurate. It's because they never had an M16 that was burst fire. They had a different weapon that it's basically, M16A1. It's the fully automatic. They should have had that instead of the M16.
I agree.
And it's not realistic.
I know, I agree.
With the AK-47, they should have had 2 different variants: the 1980s version and the 1960s version.
Yeah, the AKM and then the AK-47.
Yeah, you could have had that variant. In terms of Battlefield 6,
what they should have done, I know they probably should have just taken the idea from Call of Duty 19, and then where I can take the M16,
yeah,
and then I can make it all these different ways. You know how they have the hidden weapons in Modern Warfare 19.
Yeah,
you know, I think they should have done
Modern
that.
Warfare. I kind of enjoyed Modern Warfare, but there is one problem. It's the Warzone integration. It should have been a separate download on the console. It should have been a separate download on the console.
This is where the downloads are getting far too big.
On the console, I'm having issues with. On PC, you have a choice whether to install Warzone separately or with Modern Warfare. You have a choice, but on console, you don't.
Do you not get a choice on the console? I never knew that. On PC, we can decide what we want to download. We don't have to.
There is something very odd behind this whole forcing you to download things on console. And someone pointed this out to me a while ago. I can't remember who it was, but we were in discussion about it, and they were saying, "Yeah, I believe that games companies are making more things mandatory on console and taking more liberties with storage space, because not only do we have more storage space, but it's physically barring you from buying games from the competition because you don't have the space to then mount them on your
safe where the guy is tapping.
That's actually interesting though, but Bork, go on.
I'm not convinced it's the case, but it's an interesting concept.
Emphasize on you just saying that's not the case.
Yeah, I've got something to say. For example, if you look at the Hitman series with Hitman 3, you do not need a separate game for you to download. You just need to download the pack. It's just 1 megabyte, and it takes about a second. With Modern Warfare, it's different. You need like gajillion gigabytes, like 556. You can't even download it on a 200. But you cannot download it on a 500 gigabyte console.
So, Bort, I'm going to go straight over to Bort. Go on, you were trying to get him before, mate.
Yeah. So, again, this is all down to cost. You pay per package that you make available on console platforms.
That's a good point, actually.
Going back to Xbox 360 days, when a game used to come out and developers would discontinue support for patches on consoles but continue on PC. The reason was you have to continue paying every update to go through the QA process, and there's a lot of cost to it. So if you break your game down into 3, that's 3 times the cost for Q&A. That's 3 times the cost for publishing. That's 3 times the cost for getting your product to your consumer base. In their eyes, fuck it, stick it all in one package. You can have the lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Why should we pay for one big package when back then, if you look at other games which never had a deluxe edition for you to download extra packs?
That's a different thing. That's a different thing. You're still downloading it all as one package, but then locking you out certain portions of that data.
Until you actually pay for it.
Yeah. So you're still downloading the one package.
That's why you see all these DLCs now where they're like only 10 megabytes. You're not downloading the DLC, you're just downloading the license to unlock it.
And what they've also figured out is they'll cut 25% out of the initial game and sell it as day one DLC. And that's just blind robbery.
I don't understand why people don't realise when you're getting these downloads that you're actually downloading everything that you could pay for. You're actually downloading that, and they're just hiding it behind that.
I see what you're
not paywall as such, but you're actually downloading shit that you don't really need anyway.
Yeah.
Or you might need, but you're downloading content that until you pay for it, you cannot access.
This is where we go back to games as a service, which is going very soon.
Keep the chat going, guys. I'm just going for a...
If you look at the PlayStation consoles, they have a battery, which basically means when it's been took out, you cannot even play your licensed games, as in when you purchase them on the digital store or use them on disc. But, Sony did came out saying, we'll have to fix this or something like that.
I feel it's a bit of a separate point, though.
Yeah.
there's two issues. The first issue is that what you are buying is licenses most of the time. You're not buying a physical product. You're not buying a product, and those licenses come with as many terms as they want. Ultimately, as consumers, we don't have much argument.
It's consumers' right policy to keep the game. You cannot just imagine if something breaks and it's not your fault. You can show the consumer right, but if they don't care,
but this is the argument. You've bought a license. You haven't bought a game.
Yeah,
that's it.
There's a very clear legal definition, in difference. I suppose the other part is going back to what you were saying about, physically locking you out of your games via hardware. That's a very common practice. It's always been a common practice, and it's a scummy trick. But you've bought into a closed platform.
Yeah. That's what I was saying about why I think physical copies won't die, because at least when I buy the disc, I actually own the game.
But you don't. Again, you bought a license.
You bought a license. It doesn't matter whether it's physical or digital.
Yeah, this is the sad thing. Although you've got all of your data on a disk, which you're then going to transfer to a hard drive or an SSD, you've still ultimately bought a license to access that software. It's no different to how there's probably some of us in the room will go back to Macromedia before Adobe.
Macromedia Flash.
Well, yeah, but Macromedia's entire business model.
Full stop. Around,
piracy. They absolutely knew that people like me who was in college or school was going to pirate their software, but they knew when I become a professional, I was going to buy it. Adobe worked the same way when they bought them, and there was almost...
Well, they actually bought them, didn't they?
Yeah, it's an unwritten rule that it was okay for you to learn how to use their software on a pirated version, because when you become a professional, you buy it, and that's where they make the money. And it's an expensive product. But now it's a license to a service. You don't have any control over anything. There is piracy still. That's not gone away. But the vast majority of people will pay their £20 a month. And that's where their money is.
Whenever I'm setting up a new PC, I've done it a couple of times. I need, Microsoft Office for various things over the years.
Yeah,
and you push Office 365, no matter where you look, if you try and physically search for Office keys, you will always get redirected to 365 because it's a subscription service. It's getting harder and harder to find hard keys for Office. You can still do it. I still do it.
Yeah.
But I would rather pay 100 plus quid for a single use key than buy into something like Office 365.
Just same as me. Yeah, I would.
Because I would have paid 4, 5, many times,
whatever.
Yeah, many times plus in the years that I've been at uni or whatever. Had I been using 365, but no, I insisted on going out my way to pay extra money for for an actual one-time use key that gives me the product.
And you keep that product.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm going to ask you a quick question. What if you download a digital game, if you download any digital game, what if they don't take away the license from you? What if they abolish the license, which means you can keep the game, you don't have to worry about getting your hardware locked up or anything like that? Like, what if they did that?
You mean it becomes freeware?
Yeah.
Yeah, like...
bonus.
You pay for something, and then you keep it forever.
Well, I'm somebody who still goes and buys games from the early 2000s on a regular basis from GOG.
GOG's great.
Completely unrestricted. Absolutely. I'll still happily give a person money for their product.
Correct. You pay for something you like, in effect.
Yeah.
I'll also give. Do you know what? I don't want to see gaming become a service, but I know that's where it's going. But I pay for 365. I pay for private email hosting. I pay for private server hosting. I pay for loads of services. Because they're good services.
Yeah.
Because if they're not, Bolt, you just wouldn't pay for them.
Yeah. I'd go somewhere else. And it's not all about price.
It's all about the product itself.
Yeah. What you get in return, and is the value correct for what you're outlaying? And I believe that the game industry is going to struggle with this because if you go and buy a subscription to a Creative Suite, it's almost certain you know exactly what you're getting, you know which applications you want to use and how to use them. So it's automatically of value to you.
But there lies in that problem then, though, that games companies, game developers seem to just get away with it. I mean,
the reason why they get away with it is because they're clever. They're like cheap. You know, like cheapskates that say to them,
no,
oh, look.
They get away with it because they know people will buy it.
Correct. Correct. That's my argument, actually, Silver.
Money for
always do it.
Eventually, the market decides.
And they will dictate. Correct.
I honestly...
Go on, Stealth.
Go on.
Okay. So in 2025, you will be buying Call of Duty as a service. I guarantee it.
Which isn't good.
Do you know what? It might be the best thing that happens because it means that everybody on that service is joining at the same level, and there's no variation.
No differentiation.
Only people who want to be there will pay for it.
Yeah, I
think. Yeah, but what if you want to play the story mode, or if you want to play alone? What's it going to be?
There won't be.
Oh no!
I don't think there'll ever be that.
I think the other thing to sort of consider in this is that people only pay for a service so long as it is of value to them, as Bork's been saying.
Sure.
So with gaming moving more towards a service, I think
it's going to kill the gaming industry.
You can spin it. Oh, definitely not. Definitely not. The gaming industry is one of the biggest industries in entertainment, but
it's too big. It's massive.
What's relevant here is that you will only pay for a service so long as it is valuable to you. If the games industry doesn't keep putting out stuff to keep that service relevant and keep that service being of value to you, you will leave. So there will at least still be a bit more onus on, are we still putting out content? Are we still doing stuff? Game lifespan will increase, and we will potentially get more content, get more patches, because they want to keep that service valuable.
Okay.
They want to keep people in hand.
It's a trade-off because all of those things are absolutely true. I'm 100% with you. But you will also have an element of restriction that comes with that territory. Yes. So, yes, you will get longevity, you'll get the patches, you will get the future support, you'll get all of this stuff, but you'll be tied into a very closed walled garden.
Yes.
A good analogy for this is Netflix. Now, 90% of the stuff on Netflix doesn't appeal to me whatsoever. Like, it has absolutely, I wouldn't watch it. It's not my kind of thing. But it probably is other people's things. And I don't want to, I'm not saying this is the same for everybody, but for me. Now, I still pay whatever it is, 15 quid a month or something for Netflix. I don't know why, because I probably watch Netflix once every 2 months.
I actually watch it all the time, so.
but this is down to the individual. That's fine. I mean, you get your worth from the service. I get mine. Like, I don't get a lot of worth from the service. The kids watch it. That's probably the
So you get it in that sense.
But I still pay for it. So I've incentivized, in theory, Netflix to produce poorer content that I don't like.
I actually think they bring out decent content. In all fairness, not all the Netflix stuff, but. There's a lot of Netflix exclusives that I really, really like. Could I name one? No.
There's personal preference in all of these things. Your favourite game might be my least favourite, and your favourite show might be something I wouldn't watch.
And I liked Hardline, and a lot of Battlefield players didn't.
Exactly.
Yeah. We're all like that. But the progression towards a service has its pitfalls, and my worry is that the giving up of essential consumer rights at the behest of these entertainment behemoths, these huge fucking businesses that don't care about me or don't care about you. All they want to see is the subscription fee. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're going to see a watered down subscription Call of Duty game once every year. You're not going to have a physical copy. You're not going to have anything but a bland, quick fix that's going to be replaced very quickly by the next reskinned version. That's what we've seen over the last 10 years, and that's what we'll see over the next 10 years.
And I don't actually think it's going to get any better, Borked. I think it's going to all go, not totally tits up, but I just...
winning formula. you'll keep on selling it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing is that it's very, very hard to do anything to regulate this, because at the end of the day, no laws are being breached. No one's doing. People are doing things that are morally grey and ambiguous. Yes, but at the end of the day, the terms are set out before you. If you would like to do this, then sign here, abide by these rules, and you may do that.
Correct.
Give me X amount of money.
Fuck off.
Yeah, exactly. It's a legal contract. It holds water. There you go. Take it or leave it. And there's very little that can actually be done about that from a legal standpoint to improve or retain consumer rights, as Bork says.
But I'm going to ask you a quick question. Hang on a minute.
Yeah, go for it, buddy.
So if you were to buy a deluxe or ultimate edition of the game, for example, like Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, you got 20 tier skips of that battle pass. But the thing is, why can't they give you the whole battle pass for each season? That's the thing.
Because a battle pass is...
I have one.
Yeah, exactly.
Why have a battle pass? You've paid for the content.
No,
you should have the
this
content
reminds me. This reminds me.
You can give us battle pass for free.
Can I say something?
Go on, Silver. Go on, Silver.
So, back a few years ago, when the season pass things were starting to be new, the company was always looking for things to stretch, and then they started adding season pass 2 and 3 to the games, and people were getting upset that I already paid for the season pass. Why do I have to buy another one? They were wanting
greedy
that.
Again.
Yeah, they were wanting that $150 or however many season pass purchase. I should get all the DLC forever.
Yep, absolutely. Sorry, go on, Bok. Bok, go.
Okay, so they're trying to do exactly what I was just talking about with the visual media industry. There are no seasons with games. There aren't. It doesn't exist. With TV, you have to take a break. You have to, write a script and plan and film and post process a TV show. Then it gets released, so you can do 6 months on, 6 months off TV or whatever screen you're on. Games don't have that. Once you release. There isn't a season. So the idea that a season pass even exists is a ludicrous idea, and it's a scam.
It's a scam.
But people pay.
That's a hard word.
It's a
you don't even get given the bonus
of the concept of
I wouldn't mind. Like I said, I don't mind buying a season pass or something for a game I like. But if you've got all the content,
I want to know what I'm getting though.
At the beginning of the game, then you cut it out and then sell it as a part of a season pass. That's kind of a dick move.
Absolutely, but as we just discussed, there's very little we can actually do about that from a consumer rights standpoint. I mean,
vote with your wallet. Stop paying for it.
Yeah, basically, that's all we can do, because at the end of the day,
that never works though. It just doesn't, especially with games, because I'm the same. I'll slag a game off. You know what? I'm instantly buying the next Insurgency Sandstorm.
No,
I'm buying the next Battlefield.
Come on, PS5.
Yeah,
but
I want it to be on.
We all know that's the next version. So
yeah.
Yes,
I think Devlin made an excellent point, though.
I always liked Rising Storm Vietnam.
I
really liked that game, and it's too bad that it wasn't on console, because I would have played the heck out of that game, even though I'm kind of terrible.
Back then, when I never had a PC, when I never had Arma 3, I used to play Medal of Honor Warfighter a lot, and to be honest, that's the best game I've played. Every now and then.
There was one game, I think it was Operation Flashpoint or something.
Yeah.
That's a decent game.
Yeah.
That one was sure, it had a wonky control scheme, and I'm like, this and that, but it was something. And
good little game.
Too bad that, like I said, that COD and Battlefield duopoly.
Do you know what, gentlemen? I'm gonna end the stream shortly, but what I'm gonna do. Yeah, I'm going to end the stream shortly. We've done an hour and 35 minutes or something like that. Yeah. But I'm going to go through the people who've chatted tonight. We all know Stealth Slicer. We all know Borked, but there's one or two boys that have come on tonight. I really appreciate it. It's been an open mic night.
Thank you so much.
No worries, mate. Just give me a second. We'll go straight over to One Shot Dave. Have you got a YouTube channel or anything like that you want to promote?
It's only the one that I've got for my tattooing work.
Yeah, go there. Because if you want a tattoo and you're ever in Ireland, Dave, go.
Yeah, so it's the same on my same as my name here. It's One Shot One. Just look on there, and you'll find examples of a lot of my work. And if you're ever over in Northern Ireland, then just give me a bell.
Cool. And we'll go to Smiley.
Yeah, I started making compilation videos about gaming, I think like 2 years ago when I was still playing on console. So I upload those on my YouTube channel just for fun. And I also stream as well on Twitch.
Well, promote your channels. What's your YouTube and what's your Twitch?
My Twitch channel is like the same as my name, but with the NL in front of the Smale and behind Smale.
Okay.
And I can also send a link into the chat.
Do that. Chat. Do that before we close.
And, with the YouTube, it's /Smale Months 007. So I also will put a link into that for that. And I also try to do some Twitch compilation about funny stuff happening and full stream uploads. And I just started streaming for just a month now. And I'm just doing it for fun, being busy.
Cool. So, you know, at the end of the day, we like to promote everyone. And the next one is Silver. Silver, do you actually have a YouTube channel? And Aaron, just before Silver comes in, Aaron, the only thing I've got at the moment, I do merch. And I had some samples sent to myself and made a cock up and spelt my actual name wrong. But the mugs... Yes, I do merch. So if you want to buy any, get in touch with me. But Silver, you mate, your YouTube channel, whatever you do, whatever you want to promote.
Silver Evans is my YouTube. I occasionally upload some cool clips from the games I play. Silver Chambers is my Twitter, all one word. ILVER opinions on gameplay. You know, I provide constructive criticism on stuff while I maybe give some cool ideas. Other than that, not much I can think of. I have a Twitch, but I don't really stream that much.
Same here. So who else have we missed? We've got, and now we're going to Ali. Tell us about your YouTube channel, mate, and a little about yourself.
I started during 2016 and to make gaming videos, but in the future I thought I want to branch out my channel. I want to make the second channel for memes and just basically football related stuff, and you know, sometimes challenges as well. I do got a Twitch as well. I'm gonna leave that when I next time stream on PS5 of any game, to be honest. You know, it's been amazing, but if you think about it, creating a second channel, you have to think of
it's not easy.
You want.
Yeah, exactly.
Who do you support?
I support Liverpool.
Dave, don't go there. We've had these arguments. We've had these arguments.
You guys are speaking a different language to me.
No, there's only one team in Britain, mate. There's only one team in England, and it's Man United. It's as simple as that.
Exactly right.
I'm not even going there.
I don't support him anymore due to the
no, that's a turncoat, Ali. But anyway, exactly. Anyway,
too political.
Go on, mate. Go on, Stealth.
No, I was getting us away from football.
All right. Yeah, exactly. So was I, funny enough. And I'm the confronting one.
I just don't like to cause a controversial argument.
Yeah, I used to like certain teams too, but, you know, they have these policies that I don't particularly agree with. And I'm like, well,
like football violence.
Yeah.
Me.
So anyway, I'm gonna shut the stream off now. I want to thank everyone who's come along tonight, who's watched, liked, commented, and I really appreciate the people that have come in. We've got Ellie, we've got Silver, Smiley, we've got Dave, and obviously we've got the panel. We've got Balked and Stealth Slicer and myself, and we just want to say thank you. I'm gonna go to Dave. Say thank you and good night, mate.
Thank you.
Cheers, bud. See you later. Take it easy.
Smiley, say good night.
Good night, everybody. And
hang on a minute. Let me just.
Silver, say good night.
All right, good night, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you.
And Ali, say good night.
Good night. Thank you, everyone. It's been a pleasure. And it's your boy.
Balked. Stealth.
Chungus.
Big chunks.
Look, thanks for everyone who's joined us tonight. It's actually been decent. I opened up the mic to absolutely everyone, and we're gonna talk after this once we've
Dublin.
stop recording. But